Good evening, and a very nice evening it is as well. Maria and I were just saying what a lovely evening it is, and a warm welcome to this Hairdressing Council session looking at skin cancer and how you as hair professionals, whether that's as a hairdresser, whether that's as a barber, whether that's as an educator, can really help add value to your clients and to your businesses, however those businesses run. I say whether it's a salon or whether you're working for yourself. This session's recorded, so if you're not comfortable with that, time to leave. But we will then put the recording up on the Hairdressing Council website in the next sort of 24 hours or so. If you've got questions, please pop them up in the chat box, and Maria and I will then pick all of those questions up at the end of our presentation. And the reason I suggest doing it as you go is if you're anything like me, you just forget. I mean, I forget what day it is, let alone what my question was about something. And so, yeah, as I say, that should all work well. Our goal is to be finished in under an hour, because we're very aware of your time and how actually we're all running busy lives. I'm sure you all have busy columns all day today. So we will not take any more of your time than absolutely necessary. Just as a quick sort of intro, the reason why I think this is such a great topic is not just because actually you might save a life, and I'm sure Marie will come on to exactly those sort of figures and those sorts of detail. But actually, for me, this is exactly the sort of service that a professional should be offering to their clients. And it really differentiates us from those who don't care about training, about CPD, about continually enhancing and advancing our quality and our standards. And it's really nice to see a few of the guys that I was with down at the We Love Purple Hearts Awards ceremony over the weekend, because those guys are also all about sort of CPD and about continual training. So that's enough of me. Marie, over to you.
Right, good evening, everybody. We're going to see if the technology works now. We're going to try and share my screen. As I said, thank you for joining us this evening. It's a lovely evening, so I'm glad you've taken some time out. I'm hugely grateful for that. I'm the CEO of National Skin Cancer Charity Skin, and I'm here really for two purposes. One, to give you some more details about our online training, but give you a little bit of background to our charity, why we were formed and how we were formed, and the vital role that each and every one of you play in combating the world's most common cancer. When I said the world's, it sounds a bit shocking, but yeah, skin cancer is the UK's most common cancer. So let's see if this technology works. Maybe not. Let's have a look.
We're literally crossing our toes because my version of Teams tried to kick me out. Now, there we go. Hooray.
Right, let's have a look. Can you all see that? Yeah. Right, so the training is called Training Eyes to Save Lives, which sounds like a little bit of a cliche, but I can assure you it's absolutely not. The training that we develop is called MASS, which you can see there. It's an acronym. It's called Melanoma and Skin Cancer Early Detection, and it was established in 2018. But before I do that, I need to tell you how this all came about, and that is because of skin. Now, you may be looking at this screen thinking, this person can't spell, we're dyslexic. We can spell. The KC in how we spell skin has significant relevance to our humble beginnings. And the skin logo is featured in all of our branding and all of our logo. And the reason we have KC in our branding and our logo is because of this person. This is Karen Clifford. Karen Clifford passed away from melanoma on New Year's Eve 2005, and she had a 3-year battle with melanoma. Now, this is now over 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there were no treatments for skin cancer, and there was no really education at all either upon what to look out for. The interesting backstory to this Karen's daughter was actually a beauty therapist. She was the one that identified a suspicious lesion on her mum's stomach and recommended she get it checked out. And mum really dismissed it and said, no, it's nothing. I don't need to worry about it. It's just been itching and bleeding a little bit. It's something that's catching on my waistband. But her daughter just didn't think something looked quite right. So she insisted that she get it looked at. She was referred to a GP who referred her to dermatology. Dermatology took a biopsy, and that's when the journey began. She actually had an advanced melanoma. So from something that looked quite insignificant on the surface of the skin, no bigger than a 5p, it was actually advanced internally. She had to have a full groin dissection and all the lymph node removed across the stomach, major surgery. And at that time, there was no treatment. So it was basically a watch and wait scenario. Go home and see what happens. There was no scans even offered regularly at that time. That wasn't part of the patient pathway. And Karen was okay for about a year and a half. And then a routine blood test showed that her blood markers were a little bit way out. She got referred back to her oncologist, and the oncologist then turned around and said, it's spread to your liver, your lungs, and you've potentially got 6 months to live. And that's what happened. She died on New Year's Eve 2005. So when Karen passed away, her husband, Richard Clifford, went out to Australia to look at the great work that had been done out there, but he started to look at the statistics. And this is what I want to share with you now. And these are updated statistics for where we stand today. So when you think about the names of people that you have in your salons every day, if we look at the male infographic here of that male outline, 1 in 4 of your male clients will get a skin cancer. That is absolutely a shocking statistic. When we talk about women, it's 1 in 6. So these are largely what we call non-melanoma skin cancers. They're not life-threatening, but they are still a skin cancer that typically needs to be removed surgically. When we talk about melanoma, the most deadly form of the disease, that's 1 in 35, which is of men, and 1 in 41, again, of females. And you'll notice that it's men that are more likely to get skin cancer. People tend to think skin cancer is something that happens to older people, and we're here to dispel that myth that actually the 15 to 34 age group, melanoma is disproportionately high. So we are getting a lot more younger people that are getting diagnosed with melanoma in that age category. The interesting thing is as well that 90% of skin cancers are preventable. So when we think about all the other disease types, cancer types that are all out there, none of them have this massive, huge statistic of being 90% preventable. And our argument is, well, hold on a minute, it's 90% preventable. All these patients are getting diagnosed, all these people are dying, yet actually what are we doing about preventing people or the public getting it in the first place? And then we come to this massive figure that the NHS is spending on treating patients, £750 million. Now, I'm not a politician, but I think I would be thinking, hold on a minute, it's £750 million being spent here, but it's 90% preventable. So we have a public health crisis, and that is largely led out of people's behaviours, poor tanning behaviours, which has been inbred for over 50 years, but we need to try and move the dial a little bit on that. And the good news is, with early detection, skin cancer is 98% treatable if it's caught really, really early, not left till it becomes a problem. So our mission became clear. So 20 years ago, we looked at those facts and those stats and thought, actually, where can we make the biggest difference? We're a small charity with no money, no staff. And we decided to focus on one thing, and that one thing was education, and education with what we term at-risk and influential audiences. So this is what we do today. So Skin work nationally with key high risk and influential groups to engage, educate, empower people nationwide. The first thing we do is via our mass training, we train hair and beauty professionals, and you mustn't underestimate the role that you have, because people will come to see you, the public, every 6 or 8 weeks, more frequently than they'll ever go and see the doctor. And we are getting more and more referrals from dermatologists that are saying these people have been sent by their local hair salon, their local barber, their beautician, or whatever it might be, which is absolutely adds to the economic value of the social impact of the role that you guys are doing. We train allied health professionals. We are very aware that the only people that get any training in skin cancer is actually GPs, which we think, you can't get access to a GP. There's a whole array of other professions like dentists, podiatrists, pharmacists, physios that really should have access to this training. So we provide an online digital solution for that sector as well. We also train employers of outdoor workers. So outdoor workers is largely a male-dominated audience, and largely men as well, and we find that they don't have any education in those fields, and there really should be a duty of care element that if you employ an outdoor worker, whether it be a roofer or a bricklayer, they need to have that education and need to know the risks what come with that job, and we offer a free accreditation for Sunsafe workplaces. Now, if any of you online now have got kids in a nursery or in a primary school, please do get them to engage with our Sunsafe nursery and schools programs. These are completely free. We provide an array of resources, assembly plans, lesson plans, and the idea is we want schools to take their duty of care very seriously for the children that they're looking after and work towards a free Sunsafe accreditation. So we want all schools nationally to become part of this movement. What we're trying to do is to change behaviours. So it would be absolutely fantastic if anybody has got a kid at a primary school or a grandchild to make sure and just say, oh, actually, are you a Sunsafe accredited school? We have over 6,000 schools now, and we've reached over 1 million school children. So we're really proud about that. The last thing we do is we have a fantastic online shop. We have a free app, and we also have an array of free resources, whether these be digital resources, whether they be posters, whether they be things you want for social media. We provide those all for free. We have a very proactive social media as well. So I suggest if you're interested in social media, everybody tends to get their information from social media now. Give us a follow at The Skin Charity. So what is MASS? MASS stands for Melanoma and Skin Cancer Early Detection, and it's an educational accreditation programme for the hair, health and beauty industry professionals. What does it do? So the reason it was developed was to give you the role of significantly raising awareness for the early signs and symptoms, to detect and treat skin cancer early and to improve prognosis and save lives. We are not asking you to detect skin cancer and become a dermatologist. We're just asking you in your roles, when you see people's scalps, skin, part of their bodies that they can't see themselves, that you have a little bit of awareness to think, actually, that looks a bit odd, and I've had some training in this and I need to possibly have a conversation with my client. And we also want to highlight the dangers of exposure to UVR and promote the importance of sun safety to prevent the majority of all skin cancers. We are finding, particularly this last 5 years, there is an anti-sun cream movement that has been launched in America that is coming here, and we are telling, we are being told all the time that people don't want to use sun cream anymore because they feel or know it causes skin cancer. So you've got a role to play to help educate the public on that as well. So what you want to do is if you spot something suspicious when you're doing a consultation with a client, interact with your client to raise a concern, be able to give sound advice based on good knowledge, and recommend they see a professional. We don't want you to alarm your clients. We want them to be a journey that they go on with you. They trust you. You have unique relationships with the clients that you've had for many, many years probably. And this is what it's about. It's about having that conversation and being able to signpost them with that trust relationship that you have. The reason why heads are particularly useful in the hair sector is that 22% of skin cancers in men occur on the head. Which is very interesting. This is when we talk about melanoma, the most deadly form. And obviously the head is very close to the brain. So that is not somewhere that you really want to get a melanoma. So the scalp is a particular common area for people to get skin cancers. And if we look at the female outline, it's ladies, it's the legs. They get melanoma and skin cancers on their legs, probably because we have our legs out a lot more frequently than the men. And 5% of skin cancers occur on the trunk, which is, I think, because men tend to go bare-chested or bare-backed when they're out working. So that's the vital role that you play, because you're seeing people's bodies that they can't see for themselves. And I can't underestimate the word when we say early detection saved life. You can save a life. We've got many reports, and I'll share these later on in the presentation with you. So the stories we get back from people that have spotted something and said that they'll always be a client for life because you have actually helped save my life. So the training eyes to save life strapline is not something that we think is something that's, you know, a myth or something that's overinflated. This makes every one of you a powerful advocate in the fight against skin cancer. So you're all going to be thinking, right, how do I become master credited? Well, the good news is it's really easy. You pop along to our website and you put in the word www.masced.uk, and there you'll become across our website. You go to the website and you register with all your address details, your profession, all your details about where you are, where you're based, and you pay your funds, which the training now is £25. Now I'll explain a little bit more about why we charge that and how you can get it for free or a reduced price. When we launched the training, we provided it for free for over 3,500 people, and we wanted to continue to give it for free, but we were simply oversubscribed, so we couldn't. So you sign up to the website typically and you pay your £25. Within 3 to 5 days you'll get your training guide through the post. So this is the training guide. You get the training guide, and when you've got time you read and digest all the information that is in that guide, and you swat up on all the relevant parts that the guide covers. And then when you are ready, there's no time scale on this, so you can take 6 months, a year, 6 weeks, or do it in a day if you want to. When you feel ready, you then log back into the website and you click on commence accreditation. The accreditation takes you about an hour to complete. It's achievable online and it's open book. So your training guide, you are allowed to use your training guide. And the idea is that you progress through that training. We don't want you to stumble up. If there is an area that you're unsure of, there is a icon question mark in the top right hand corner on every screen where it'll help you if you do get stuck on a question. And what the training is different from every other thing that's out there. Every other training program that's out there tends to be that you read something and then you get asked questions about it. The difference with this training is interactive and it's intuitive. So it'll ask you a question and then you have to give multiple choice answers. The client may have presented with this. They've told you they've had this lesion on their skin for X. This is what it looks like. What's your thoughts? So it's giving you a level of competency to actually prove what you've read in the guide you actually do understand. And that's the difference with this training. It's intuitive, interactive, and it's giving you real case scenarios that you could come across in your salon or in your clinics. And if you get it wrong, it says you've got it wrong, please try again or refer to your guide. If you get it right, the idea is you progress through the training. It takes about an hour to complete, and upon completion you get your certificate. And your certificate many people adorn in their salons, and also as well as your certificate, we have window stickers to say you are a MAST accredited business, which we're really pleased that people are buying those from us. This is a sample screenshot of what your dashboard looks like. So this is all the information, and if you do lose your training guide, there is a downloadable version that you can get. You can share that you are MAST accredited on social media, but one of the important things in the bottom corner there on the left is this reporting finding the skin cancer. If you actually in 3 months after your training or even sooner find that you've spotted something, refer that back to us and get feedback from your individual client and report that into us, because this is really powerful for us to go to the NHS to highlight what a fantastic role that you as a sector are doing, because we are being told that more and more dermatologists are saying that it's hairdressers and barbers that have sent them in, not necessarily their GP. So that is the social impact as you as a powerful collective group of individuals. You do this because your clients, you're interested in their well-being, and you do the role that you do because you're interested in their health and well-being. And I think that's a really powerful statement to say. So do report back to us if you happen to find one. And also we do point of sale resources that you can get for your own clinic or salon if you wanted to exhibit those. May every year is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. So there are lots of health promotion months, whether it's Bowel Cancer Month, Breast Cancer Month. We have Skin Cancer Month, which is May. And in our online shop, you can order these resources and you can stick them up by any of the products and have some struck cards, even if it's just over the summer months, just to keep that educational message ongoing, really. The training's been approved by HABIA and for 3 CPD points, and it's approved by all the industry stakeholders. BABTAC, National Hair and Beauty Federation, and all the other hair and barbering stakeholders have come on board. So we're really proud that we've been supported by a collective community of individuals. Oh, going backwards here. Hold on a sec. Right, over 14,000 professionals, that's actually wrong, that's actually more now, it's nearly 15,000 across the UK have taken this training. And you probably might not be gobsmacked by that figure, but I am. We started this training in 2018 with an ambition to train 1,000 people for our first year. We trained 1,000 people within our first month. So 14,000 people from the sector have undertaken the training, and that's across all specialties. So whether it be hairdressers, barbers, beauticians, lash technicians, pedicurists, you name it, a whole array of people. We've had about 3,500 from the barbering and hairdressing sector, and that's why the purpose of tonight's session is to say, look, can we get more of you on board? And I'll share with you just a few of the amazing reviews that we get. So this one here, this is from Nicola Fulton, who's a hairdresser in Hertfordshire. This is a brilliant course and absolutely essential for barbers and hairdressers like myself, or anyone who is in close contact with clients working on areas they wouldn't see for themselves. The knowledge gained and knowing that you could potentially save a life is invaluable. The fact I've talked to several of my clients and advised them to see a GP, which has led to 6 of those being diagnosed as skin cancer, speaks volumes, which again, it absolutely does. So another one here, this was somebody that spotted a SCC. Now, a squamous cell carcinoma is classed as a non-melanoma skin cancer, but as you can see from these pictures, from something that didn't look quite right, that looks like it could just be cut out, led to a really severe diagnosis with a full skin graft. And that was just by somebody making an observation and recommending that the client get that checked out. So again, there's some others. Masks helped save my husband's life. That was a Tropic ambassador. We work with Tropic Skincare and their ambassadors, and she spotted that on her husband's head. And there's some other images as well. So these things can appear facially on people's noses, on their ears, and particularly on the scalps in men. So one conversation, 1 second opinion, and 1 life saved, which is, I think, the power of what we're trying to achieve. And there's some more here as well of people that have come forward. Of those 14,000 people that have done the training, 98.5 of them have left us a 5-star review, which I think again is testament to the training and how powerful it really is. The training's gone global, so it's not only in the UK. We've had people from all around the world embrace with this training. So today I'm going to offer you a 25% discount with a voucher code. So if you've got your cameras with you now, take a photograph of that voucher code, which is Hair Council. And what you do is you go to the website, and when you finish your registration, it will say when you go to pay, do you have a promo code? You put that Hair Council code in, and that will reduce the price by 25%. And I'm going to provide Gareth with a selection of free voucher codes. So if there's anybody in particular that wants some free training, Gareth has got some exclusive codes that he's able to allocate out. When we launched this training, I've said before, we are a grassroots charity. We survive on a bare minimum because we don't get many donations from direct from the public, because this is seen as an educational purpose. This now generates as a little revenue stream, but what we tend to do is give back. So yes, we charge for this training, but ultimately this money is reinvested back into the work we do with schools, nurseries and workplaces. We only get less than 20% of our income comes from direct donations. So we've had to make ourselves over the last 7 or 8 years think about how we can create a revenue stream, and we would love to continue to give this for free. So until a big sponsor comes on board and lets us, allows us to do that, that won't really happen. This is just some of the top line news, national media that we've been in. And one of the best news stories I can probably share with you, we've been on Sky News, was Erica Hodgkiss. Erica Hodgkiss was a beauty salon owner, and she had a small-time business at the bottom of a garden, and she'd been doing that role for about 25, 30 years. And she recommended a selection of her clients. She did our training and thought, you know, I've really enjoyed this. She's only got 100 clients. And of those 100 clients, she went through some skin surveillance with all of them. And out of all of them, there was 8 that she said, please go and see a doctor or a GP and get a referral because I'm not happy by what I've seen. Out of those 8, 6 had skin cancers and 3 had melanomas. Now, that to me is testament to what this is all about. This news went in the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail got hold of it and it went on Sky News. And from Sky News, Fox News in America got hold of it and it went global. That success was 7 or 8 years ago, and it's that flurry has died down now because we've got that success and we've had that success. But I've just said that we've got 14,000 people trained. We know there's over 250,000 people that work in this sector, working in the hair and beauty sector. So actually there's a hell of a lot of you still that we can engage with and support. So yeah, I think that's really inspiring for me as a charity. I just get really inspired when I see those comments. And when you consider as well, it costs us around £150,000 to treat a melanoma patient. So when you spot a melanoma early and it's simply incised out, you are saving the NHS an absolute fortune. So again, that's where we're really keen to capture that data to prove to the NHS just what an absolutely vital role you're playing. Right. In our training, we talk about non-melanoma skin cancers. So today I want to give you a little bit of education, just so you can get some bite-sized pieces of education to take away. So it gives you a flavour of what we do. So melanoma is the most deadly, and this is the one that we want to catch early because this is the one that can spread down your body, and 3,000 people die a year from it. So the literal translation of melanoma is the black tumour. It's the most serious and potentially life-threatening form of skin cancer. And as with all skin cancers, melanoma can often be seen on the skin, making it the easiest to detect. But if it's left untreated, it can spread very easily. And when you think about cancer, you think about breast cancer, bowel cancer, prostate cancer. You can't do anything about these cancers. You can only try and check and see. There's no, national skin cancer surveillance program in place. You've got the vital role that you can actually spot this before it's even got anywhere. And that's the actual vital role that we're trying to say to everybody, not just anybody that works in salons or clinics, but even the general public. Check your skin once a month. That's what we want people to try and do. Early detection makes such an absolutely vital difference. Right, so this is an infographic of what a melanoma is. So melanoma is obviously it's a skin cancer, so it forms on the skin, but it belongs in the melanocytes. So they're the cells that produce the pigment for the colours of our skin and our eyes. So that's where it begins. It begins in the melanocytes. Melanocytes also form moles where melanoma can sometimes develop, but that's where it typically develops. And a melanoma is caused by overexposure to UV. When you get exposure to UV and you get a sunburn, it disrupts that DNA of that cell. Now, the thing with skin cancer as well, you can get a sunburn, a really severe sunburn, and it can be 20 years later before you get melanoma. And that is a real game changer for a lot of people. They don't realise that what they're doing in their 20s and 30s, even as teenagers using sunbeds, can bite them on the bottom when they're in their 40s and 50s. Many melanoma patients say to us, oh, I don't know what the problem is. I've been, very sun safe since I've been an adult, but when I was younger, I was not so, and that's why they've ended up getting a melanoma. So these cancerous growths develop when the DNA damage is caused by overexposure, and it causes the skin cells to trigger mutations. So when it becomes mutated, when it grows, that's when it turns into a melanoma, and then it can turn into a malignant tumour. Right, superficial spreading melanoma is the most common. So 70% of cases of people that get diagnosed, they start as a superficial spreading melanoma. And this is some images of some melanomas here. Now, what you can all do is there is an international universally used tool, which is known as the ABCDE tool, screening tool. And this is what I want to talk to you about now. So each of those A, B, C, D, E acronym stands for something. So the first one stands for A, which is asymmetry. When something is not symmetrical, it means that there's something that you should consider along with these other factors. So if you've got that picture on the right, that is a normal, healthy mole. If you were to put a mirror down it, it would be the same both sides. So it means it's symmetrical. The other one on the other side, if you were to put a mirror down the middle, it would be different either side. So that means it's asymmetry, when one half doesn't look like the other. The next one is border. So when we look at the border of it, on the right one, you've got a healthy mole there, and the border is clearly defined, it's smooth, it looks fine. But if you look on the other picture on the left there, you've got a melanoma that the outline is almost like a map. It's ragged, it's deeper in defined edges where it shouldn't be. And it just looks like it's spreading in different directions. So the border, if that border does not look regular, that is another sign that something needs to be investigated a little bit further. ST stands for colour. Now, lots of people have lots of moles, and we don't want to panic people thinking every mole they've got on their body is going to be an area for concern. And if you've had them a long time and they've not changed, again, it's not something you should be concerned about. But the mole on the right is a normal, healthy mole. It's brown, and that's simply it. But the one on the other side, you can see there, it's got a different pigment. So it's got a very dark pigment to it. It's lighter brown in the other areas. If a dermatologist was to look at that with a dermatoscope, there'd be lots of different colours in there, and that would indicate that something is not quite right. So when the colour changes throughout the lesion or the mole, that is another indicator that something is not quite right. D is for diameter. And it's a little bit hard to express what diameter is about, but within our training, we provide you with a little mole ruler, and the mole ruler allows you to measure things. So 6 millimeters or more. So 6 millimeters is only the size of a pencil head. So anything bigger than that is really a cause for concern. And again, if you were to look at these images, you can straight away think that they're a lot bigger than 6 millimeters. But you do get some melanomas that are very dark, that are only just 6 millimeters or slightly less. But then again, your mole ruler is really useful to use in your salons. And E stands for evolving. So we've got A, B, C, D, E. E, if I'm honest, is probably the most important. Anything that changes in size or sensation, or is a new or existing mole. They're indicators that something is not quite right. The majority of melanomas don't occur from an existing mole, they occur from a new mole that's occurred. So evolving. So that's why it's really important that people check their skin, the public, but also if you're seeing people regularly over a 6-week period, you'll probably be able to remember. And that's why we do say to people, take a photograph. We've got an app and I'll talk to you about that in a sec. Take a photograph, or encourage them to take a photograph. So next time they can come in, you can have a check of what that looks like. So this is your checklist really, something that gets bigger or changes in shape, particularly if it's of a regular outline, something that changes colour or gets darker or becomes patchy or multi-shaded. If something becomes elevated, i.e. it's growing upwards or it's firm to the touch, anything that starts to itch, gets painful or starts bleeding or becomes crusty or inflamed, or looks like it's behaving differently to the rest of the other moles that are around. And involving any other areas where it changes in size or symmetry. And that is really your education piece. The training that we provide goes into a lot more detail on that, and it also covers the presentation and the signs and symptoms of non-melanoma skin cancer as well, which are really common. That's 1 in 4 men. So 1 in 4 men that are sitting in your chairs are very likely to have a skin cancer. This is the game changer that we produced in lockdown. Whilst in lockdown, most charities were really, really quiet. We were really, really busy because everybody was bored and doing our training, which was absolutely fantastic. And we decided to reinvest that money back into providing education in the most effective way possible. And we thought, how can we do that? And one of the easiest ways we thought was via people's mobile phones. Everybody's got a mobile phone, and if we can provide education via mobile phones, that's even better still. So this is an app. It's a free app. It's not available on the App Store. So you need to simply go to a Chrome or a Safari search. But I'll go through the menus of what it covers. So we've got the UV index. What is super powerful for us is we're trying to get people to think about what the UV forecast is. People can go out on a cloudy day and get sunburn and not realise that it's nothing to do with the temperature, it's nothing to do with how hot it is, it's to do with the UV index. So we want people to check the UV index. On our app, you get a 14-day free trial and it will alert you to what the UV index is, and you can pop it in your pocket, and if your phone alerts you, you'll get a notification and it will say today's UV is going to be 6 or 8 or whatever it might be. Anything that beeps above 3, you can set it for that, needs to mean that you need to put sun cream on if you're a person that's outdoors a lot. So the UV index is really a behavioural game changer, we feel, and that's in there. It's a free trial for 14 days, and after that it's $4.99 for the year, for the whole year, to have that service. We have a whole section in there which covers about prevention, which is all about using sun cream, what sun cream to look out for, how to use clothing, how to think about shade, what sunglasses to get. That's all about the prevention element, and what things people can do, strategies to adopt. We've also got a risk assessor in there. So if people want to consider, are they likely to get skin cancer? So it goes through a whole risk assessment of asking the client lots of questions about, have you used sunbeds? Have you got a history of melanoma in your family? What skin type are you? All these other kind of questions, and it will generate them a risk assessment to say, yes, you're at a high risk or a low risk or a medium risk. We've got a section in there about early detection, which builds on the training that we've provided, which is about what to look out for, the early signs and symptoms. And we also have a section on there about skin checking. Now, the skin checking service, I'll tell you about it, but this is not, I'm not after a sales pitch here, definitely, absolutely not. I said earlier about taking a photograph. Taking a photograph is a great way to monitor your client's skin. However, as a nation, we take that many photographs that when it comes to 6 weeks later trying to find that photograph, you can't find it. And the other thing is that, do you want personal photographs of areas being exposed or sharing them with all and sundry? We have a skin checking service that we provide where it's within the app. You take a photograph of the image, you date and timestamp it on the area of your body where it is, and it's encrypted and it's safe and secure within the app. We pay for security, so it's safe and secure. And then you can diarise to take another photograph in 6 weeks, and then you can compare those photographs side by side. It does not use AI, so don't be thinking this is an AI tool. This is about empowering people to make decisions for themselves. So if you can clearly see the two images have changed, then you need to be routing yourself straight to a GP and sharing those images with your GP. And then we've got a section on about how to take action and raise concerns with your GP. GPs sometimes lack training in this area, and they are provided with training when they go to medical school, but some GPs can be dismissive, and this is why we think it's really important that you empower the public to have this knowledge and this education and share it with their GP if they've got any concerns, to ensure that they're not one of the statistics that we find out about where people are late diagnosed or misdiagnosed. So if you've got your phones with you now, you don't go to the App Store. The reason you don't go to the App Store is Apple and Google Play want to make money out of apps. And obviously we don't want to make money out of the app, because ultimately we want to provide something as cheaply as possible. So you find it on a Chrome or Safari search. So I suggest you take a photograph of this screen and basically go onto your Safari or your Safari or your Chrome and look up the word app.skin.org, which is number 1 instruction on there, app.skin.org, and it should appear. It's just like using the internet. It should appear, and then all you do simply is save to home screen. So it's just like saving favorites on your PC, in the same kind of manner, really. You're saving it to favorites, and because it's a progressive web app, it works just like an app. So hopefully I'd like you to try and take advantage of that, and even share that with your own client community if you want to. We have a very, very proactive social media. 98% of what we post on our social media is all educational. So if you're looking for fantastic social media content to share with your community, please like and follow and share. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Skin Charity. And don't forget about May. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. It would be wonderful if you could consider fundraising for us, but if not, just share our posts with everybody that you know, because we provide loads of assets for May that are all branded up. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and this is about routine education in the most effective way possible. And I think that is probably about it from me. Prevention and early detection saves lives. Thank you for listening. Hopefully, Gareth can invite me back and we can have some questions if anybody's got any.
Thank you, Marie. That was fantastic, and really quite sobering, really, when you look at those figures.
Mm.
Particularly as a man, you think that one in
Yeah,
four. And so one of the things you talked about is around sun cream, and this frightening thing
yeah,
about there being this lots of things like this come from America, don't they?
yeah.
Where this kind of anti-sun cream sort of moves. Um, is all sun cream equal? I mean, when we're looking at something like SPF 50, is it
Yeah,
all the
what we
same? If you
recommend,
buy it from
yeah, this,
Aldi or you buy a branded,
yeah,
I don't know,
we've
Nivea
just
or
partnered with Lidl actually, which is an interesting point. We partnered with Lidl last month. Yes, so the simple advice: if I got a pound for every time I was asked for an SPF recommendation, I'd be living in Barbados now and just lying on a beach somewhere, I'm sure. But no, we used to keep it really, really simple. We say go for a SPF 30 or 50. There's not much in the level of protection between 30 or 50. It's only about 3%, but it's about how you apply it. And if you're not very good, which most of the public aren't very good at applying it very well, go for a 50. We also ask for something that's UVA broad spectrum. So that means it covers UVA and UVB. That's really, really important. And it's up to you then whether you want a stick, a spray, a gel, or whatever you want. Just make sure that you use it every 2 hours and you use it liberally. And it doesn't have to be expensive. You've hit the nail on the head. A lot of the supermarket brands now are all 4 or 5 star rated. So we partnered with Lidl last month on a campaign with Pitbull. I don't know if any of your viewers know Pitbull. I didn't know who he was, but I'm the wrong generation. But yeah, they've generated a sun cream spray called Mr. 30.5 because he's got a bald head. And one of the big thing about men having bald head is not applying sun cream. Their sun cream in their stores ranges from £3.50 up to £5.50, which is really, really, really cheap. I know of ladies that spend 30, £40 on their SPF. And we do have a problem with some areas, particularly with schools, where we are being told parents can't afford sun cream for their children, which is a real, real concern for us. And that's why we're trying to think about the Lidl and the Aldis of this world, which they've got rollerballs at like £2.80, which we think is absolutely fabulous. It's making sure it's the right factor protection and make sure it's regularly applied and liberally applied and at the right times. So yeah.
yeah, and I mean, really interesting there. It's certainly something I didn't know, which is you've got to reapply every 2 hours. I tend to liberally coach my children in factor 50 as they leave the house, and, and they
Yeah,
hate me
well, I
doing it
think
because I've
what's
got big hands. And but really interesting. And so on the training course, this is the sort of stuff also that you're covering off on the training course, is it?
yeah. We've got that all within our training material, within the training guide, within the little booklets that we give to the public. A lot of the public don't know what the UV index means, so we try to educate the public on that. They don't know about the open symbol on the sun creams, that they should be throwing away their sun cream if it's been opened over 12 months. And it also, again, it's about them finding a sun cream that they want to use, because people ask me for a recommendation and I go, yeah, but when you're applying something to your skin, it's very personal. People don't like the texture, they don't like the smell, they don't like the look and feel or whatever it might be. Some leave white cast if it's a mineral sunscreen. And it's very personal. So that's why I just say, just stick to the simplest format and then you find one that you are more likely to use. And our wishes, or our wishes as charity, is, remember when we had COVID and everybody walked round with a hand sanitizer, or everywhere, everybody where you went, everybody had a hand sanitizer. And we want that same kind of culture, because what we've got here in the UK is people think about sun cream when they're going on holiday, or they're going out for the day, or they're going to the beach. They don't think about it as an everyday occurrence necessarily. And that's because we forget. We go out, it turns sunny, and we forget. As where if it was in little bottles and you had lots of it all over the place, you kept one in the car, one in your handbag, one in the kids' bag, one wherever, one in the kitchen, you'd be more likely to remember. And that's what we had with COVID. And that's the kind of culture we want people to adopt. Think, actually, as soon as April and the good weather comes around, sun cream should be everywhere and we should be using it as regularly as we can.
Yeah, I think that's good advice for us as individuals as well as it is as professionals. And I really love the idea of the social impact posters, the window stickers, because it's that point of difference for me. It's showing that you really have gone that extra mile to care for your customers, to care for your clients.
Yeah.
And it's being an integral part of the high street or of our community.
Yeah.
And it's those services that the non-direct, so it's not the necessarily the color or the beauty service. Actually, I think is where we really add the value. So um, I don't see anyone else has got any other questions. So thank you very much, Marie, for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you also for the discount code. So as a reminder, you go to the website, go to register, and then at checkout, use your Hair Council discount code, Hair Council, all one word. But I will also pop this session up with the discount code and the link up on our website, or just contact me, and we will direct you in the right place. But Marie, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for joining. And anyone who's got any questions or ideas or suggestions, we are absolutely. So we didn't know anything about the beauty industry. We joined this sector, the hair sector. Everybody just welcomed us with open arms, and everybody gets it. Like you got it, didn't you, Gareth? When I spoke to you, it was like, yeah,
Straight
this
away.
makes perfect sense straight
Yeah.
away. Absolutely got it. And for me, there's about highlighting this to government because you are doing such a fantastic role. There's a new APPG report that's come out, the UV inquiry report, and we've highlighted this to say we use this term embedding knowledge in communities nationwide. You guys are working in the heart of communities nationwide and are making a massive difference. And I don't think you even think about it. You do this probably job in terms of, telling people to go and see GP and don't even think about what you're doing. And actually, you're saving the NHS money, you're, all these things which need to be celebrated and amplified. And we can only do that by working collectively. So I'm proud to work with the Hair Council and thank you for having me today.
Great. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.